your feedback would be very valuable if you could tell us what to use and how to use it. Let's say, what do you use yourself for, let's say, nurturing, and what do you think, like, in general, should salesperson be equipped with?
There's so many. There's a lot, but what should I recommend?
Let's imagine if it's your regular sales day, I bet that you have, I know, like 5 to 6 tools that you use on a regular basis, or like, I know, instruments, even notebook.
Yeah. Okay. No, but let me mention AnyBiz, of course, because that is a really good tool, which is different, which is unique. And I think people should hear why I did decide to choose it. And it's working well. So let me try to give them one of my latest stacks, but it's never the stack itself. But let me name a few, because as I mentioned before, it's not about the best stack. There is not one best stack, but let me tell it and then we can discuss it. But let's make it clear where the key is. The key is not the tech stack itself. Anyway.
Obviously, it's,
I mean, I'll make it in a positive way, don't worry. But let me talk about AnyBiz, because that's part of my stack, okay? And that is a real difference, and I can give good reasons why. I did decide and why I think it's unique. That is way different than Outreach, SalesLoft, all the other tech stacks. It's very different. And let me name it, okay? Without making it a big marketing show.
Next thing I want to ask you, and that's also something that is really helpful, is also, we already covered that a little bit, but let's say, at which point do you believe, like, do you have a successful lead? Or, I mean, like, do you have success in your nurturing? When person is getting back to you, or when you actually have a deal closed? Basically, there are plenty of things that you can measure as a success for yourself in nurturing. And what is your own measurement of that?
Success in terms of sales, definitely, let me go from the end. A deal, a contract, a specific revenue signed. That is a real success because it's confirmed. But let me go back, because there's many iteration steps before, and that is the key to get there. So first of all, if you find the right decision maker, and you have to identify, little success. Next step, of course, get in contact in a way by whatever platform, email, outreach, call, whatever system. Get a meeting, have a phone call, usually a phone call is a quick, brief exchange to find more time. That is a success, because only through these steps you get a deal signed in the end. Of course, the big success is the big deal. Everybody wants to have the multi-million-dollar deal signed. Yes. But let's be more specific and experienced. All the steps before are success by success to be able to have the online meeting, to be able to identify all decision makers in a process. The bigger the company, the more decision makers. You find them, you get them into the meeting, success. Because if not, it takes you a month longer to get to a decision. So in terms of success in sales, it is closing a deal, but know how to get there. And then, of course, success can be a term of collaboration as well. So a success can be building a relation, and then I stop, but building a relation because the person is not buying right away. Well, let's say the person is not buying right away for whatever reason. There might be no budget, there might be whatever discussions internally, and he's not going to buy. But it will be a success if you continue with that person. You step by step build a personal relation is a very, very important factor, very big success factor, because when this guy is ready to buy something on your side, he will contact you. He will remember you. That is worth a lot, and that is a success. People, and I want to make it clear, Alex, because people think it's only the deal. It's only the contract signed. Yeah, that's for the company, and you won't be the hero, and you want to have 10 new big deals every month. Yeah, but how to get there, that's what I mean. And that's what I wanted to explain, how to get there step by step with all the little successes until you have all the right decision makers in the room, meeting room, and you made it a very compelling information presentation. They think this is the best solution we can get on the market, and then they sign. But this is just the last step, So success are steps for the final result. That's how I would phrase it. Okay.
Oh, basically, so success is like a entire chain of small victories on different steps of each, let's say, level of sales process. And yeah, that's actually fair enough. I feel this is what feedback of an experienced salesperson is, because my personal opinion was that, well, success is when you get the lead close, or where you get somebody on a meeting, where you can identify somebody, but that's actually a way better reply.
Let me give you another example, and then we close it probably. You just mentioned having the right lead. So at that point, you think that is the right lead. You have a name, you have a job description, and you think that is the right person. You might be right, you might be wrong. After talking with him, you might find out, oh wait, there is another person involved, maybe even more. And I'm not just talking about the budget, the finance teams in the end. I'm talking about a decision maker about that product, service, whatever. So, success. You find out this person is not the key person. There's another person which is the key person, which is maybe 60% of the decision, and your contact, your lead is only 20% of the decision. So if you find that out quickly, that is a big success again. Otherwise, you would continue talking to the guy, and you would be wondering why it's still no decision made. It's not just a lead. You have to qualify the lead and the whole decision-making process on the other side.
Definitely a good point. Very last question for you, Guido. I would like to ask you about sounding more human. This is one of the things we discussed before. I personally noticed myself that inexperienced SDRs or salespeople, like any kind of salesperson doing that nurturing, and pretty often when I see their follow-ups, I just want to, put my head between my knees and just scream, because people are like sending generic things. Even the tone, there's so many mistakes they can do. Actually, sometimes I feel that if you put the 10 SDRs like that or salespeople like that, AI will easily beat them, without even making a single effort. So I want to ask you if you could give some quick fixes for salespeople to sound more like a human being while they're nurturing leads.
Yes, it is a key problem, definitely. Let me mention, I think the sales guys are not trained well enough. But to your question, in order to sound more human, and we talked about it before, how important it is, because you're talking to a human being, you're talking to somebody who might be in a good mood today, bad mood today, terrible mood today. You have to realize which mood that person is when you are on the phone or in an online meeting. If you're talking about just emailing and the issues we have in the mass or even targeted emailing, which are mass often as well, it's just not the right flow. It should be structured like a personal conversation with facts. I mean, not blah, 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 but with facts. It's about business, it's about making a decision, it's about sharing the right information to help the other person make a decision, okay, or move it forward. So it should be formulated, if you make it an email, a text message, it needs to be structured like a personal conversation. I'm still a believer in like, hello, how are you, as a first sentence. That's what you would do in a phone call or an online meeting. So why not? It's a positive first reaction you create after opening that email. Everybody knows it's a standard question, but it's better than not to have it. And just run into the issues, the topic, and the perfect solution, which is a robotic way. Because you try then to rush with that email the other person to make a decision. And he realizes in the text. So besides AI, which in my eyes is improving rapidly, especially the last 2 years, AI is getting so good that standard salespeople will become obsolete. I'm sorry, but it's a matter of time. Where they will not become obsolete is with having the personal touch conversations, listening carefully to the other side, understanding the real issues, and then giving the right solutions and offerings, which really, really fits with the person on the other end. So to the question of more human touch in, let's say, email mailings, AI will solve the problem. It's on its way. Better than human beings, I'm sorry. And in the meantime, it needs to be a real personal kind of fact-based personal professional conversation, make it short. Nobody wants to have a 2-meter email. Make it very precise, very short, but helpful, transparent. People will start asking questions if it's an email. So I didn't understand that. Can you help me? Can you give me this answer? Which you would do in a phone conversation or online meeting as well. But as you don't have a direct dialogue, you need to make it very compelling, very positive, very helpful, very transparent, very honest. If you are covering topics which are not true, it's not going to work. It will come up. So to not sound robotic, to not sound like a machine, be aware how to formulate it. Honestly, I tried ChatGPT when it started. I played with ChatGPT, and honestly, it was quite good. And it improved and improved the last 2 years. I'm using other AI tools for how they would, write an email. It's for me, it's a bit funny because I think I can always do better than they do. But in the future, it might be really, really good. And let me just mention AnyBiz on this point, because for me, it's important. Because for me, AnyBiz is working really well. They did not pay me for that. Whatever I say is my honest opinion. For me, AnyBiz is really, really good because the AI, but Alex, you know as well, the AI improved dramatically this year. In my eyes, it improved dramatically this year, and I'm aware it will continue improving because that is the linearity of software technology, of AI technology, which is really helpful. So, and we saw the results. I'm not giving numbers here, of course not, but we saw the results improving responses, improving meetings being booked. That's a proof. So there is a machine aspect like in your product, but I call it AI because it's not feeling like a machine. And everything needs to be improved, but it's really good and it's improving. And I tell you, all standard SDRs, human beings in the sales teams, writing emails like hell with ChatGPT or not will be less effective. Simply less effective. So, machine learning AI can work really well if you have the right tool. Otherwise, it's not even average response.
I can imagine that. And I like that you mentioned that AI actually is progressing. And that is completely true. Yeah. It is just tremendous. And I'm super excited because from at least what we are doing, I can tell that, let's say 4 months, 6 months from now, going to be completely on a different level. And not just us, everybody is in niche. Everybody is running as fast as they can to make it better. So this means only one thing. Probably in a year from now, we'll have to write all the sales playbooks, or at least majority of them.
The real reason I did choose AnyBiz, Alex, maybe I never told you that straight. My real reason to choose AnyBiz was, I think you guys can make it. It might take a year, maybe even longer, I don't care. But at that point where it switches, and this is just like in the last meter will make a huge difference in effectiveness and productivity. And you're getting close to it already. You're getting really close. I think this year you make the breakthrough. And I did choose you because I believed in that. If you solve the problem, who loves cold calling? Nobody. Okay? If you solve the problem, that your system is so effective, you constantly get leads, you constantly get meetings booked, phone calls, email responses. You are such a happy salesperson. You can get rid of all the things you don't want to do. You can focus on the real conversations, the human touch. This guy is interested. Which company, which branch? Let me prepare something. Let me now call him and make it very compelling for his industry, for his branch, for his product group. Then he will be like, this guy understood me. This solution sounds really good. Let's have an online meeting with all relevant people from my company. But I did choose you. If you help me cut out all the waste, cold calling millions, I'm so grateful. And that's definitely worth it, That was a real reason I did choose you. And now it's up to you guys to go the last miles.
Well, sounds like a pretty good task that we can complete. And I feel like we are getting pretty good to the point of our time limit. So maybe let's give a bit of time for Q&A. After all, we have somebody else here as well. At least, what compels me is that at least I get to share and I get to spread some nice ideas from somebody who knows better. And this is just a certain point of people that just keep going, that realize, okay, it's time for me to learn from others. So
yeah, I mean, I really can't give the one and only sales stack and then your success is booming through the roof. It isn't. I'm just really honest and transparent. That's not the case. If that would be the case, I would use it already for years. There is differences and there's better and less good ones, yes, but it's still the human touch. And if you talk to the global sales gurus in this world, the real sales gurus with proven track records, they prove to you the human touch is still key with all the technology and everything. But if technology helps you to go faster to the right decision makers, then the world is perfect. You have more time to talk to the right people. You will close more deals. That will help you. But if I use for the contact details, I mean, Alex, if I use Apollo, if I use Salesport, if I use Lucia, there's so many. There's small differences, but that's not. It's just a name, a phone number, maybe an email. So what is the key? The way you prepare the call, the way you know about the company, the way you approach him. So he realizes in 5 seconds, number one, that's a real professional. He knows what he's talking about. He did his homework. He knows about our company. That's more than the average sales guy knows when cold calling. Then secondly, his offering of his product fits very well with our products and sales strategy and distribution and marketing. And that needs a well-educated, trained salesperson. But that multiplies your success rate. So what I wanted to make clear, and maybe that's not what people like to hear, because maybe they like to hear, what is the perfect sales stack? I'm going to do that. And then I'm successful.
Obviously, everybody wants a simple solution to difficult questions.
Exactly. It's not that easy, unfortunately. So anyway,
Guido, actually, I barely felt that, so much time has passed, but it was a very nice chat. I'm happy that actually I occasionally get a chance to talk to you besides the webinars, which I really enjoy. In the meantime, I wanted to thank you for your time today. Here's our contacts. Feel free to reach out to me or Guido on LinkedIn or via email that is presented here. Any question, either about what we presented here or what our business is doing, I'm quite a yapper, so I would be happy to talk about anything. So thank you everybody who listened.
Yeah, thank you everybody as well. Have a nice evening wherever you are.
Bye.